Hi guys. A few years ago I did a tire review video on a set of Goodyear Wrangler DuraTracs. Although my overall opinion on them was that they were an excellent all-round tire, I did find that they were lacking when it came to icy conditions. I did wonder though how they would work on ice if they had been studded, but at the time couldn't afford a dedicated set for winter. Well, the time has come to give it a try. So I bought a new set of 35s that are going to be used exclusively for winter, especially now that they're studded, as it is illegal where I live to drive with studded tires between April and October. I also picked up a used set of factory wheels so that I can do my own tire changeovers in the spring and the fall. This will also allow me to run my summer set even longer, as I don't mind having a little less tread for the street or off-road than I would for winter. So I set out to put some miles on these tires and get a feel for whether or not the studs make any difference in winter driving over the other set. My first impressions are that I did not notice much of a difference. DuraTracs are already a decent tire in winter, so these were still performing well. Even when the roads were a little icy, it was difficult to tell if there was more traction or not at speed, because I grew up driving in bad weather conditions and I naturally tend to be gentle with steering inputs, throttle and braking. I have run these tires for almost 2 full winters now, and my only complaint is a lack of traction when leaving slippery intersections and two-wheel drive from time to time, but that's just trucks being trucks. I've been waiting for an opportunity to really test out these tires with the studs, and we had a recent ice storm and some flooding, and you can see here my driveway is a sheet of ice right now. I did put some salt and sand at the end near the road so I can stop and not go into traffic, and I put some here over by the garage so that I can make it up that hill. But the middle here, there's absolutely no salt or sand. It's quite slippery, so I'm going to get the truck out here and I'm going to film just a little bit of my attempts to get up to speed in two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And while I was standing here, I noticed that the little road going to my neighbor's house, so there's 2 houses just behind my house, and they have a private road going back, and that is a skating rink going back there. So I may just set up my tripod here in my yard and just film going up and down the road there, stopping and starting, and we can see how these studs actually help. Okay, so here we can see the aftermath of that little test. It's really clear that those studs really bite into the ice nicely. Now I've got an open diff, so you can see here that when I was running with traction control off, that one tire was spinning constantly, but you can see that's really biting into the ice there. I was worried that there didn't seem to be enough studs for it to make a difference, but it's really clear here that it's biting good. And as you can see, this is uphill. There's a good 6 feet of difference in elevation between the front of my driveway where the truck's parked there and the bottom here. So this is a nice little hill. I was thinking about going on over to my neighbor's yard and driving along their road, but I don't think I need to. This is really, really slippery here. I have to be careful as I walk. So this, I think, was a good enough test for me. I'm just really impressed by how well those studs were biting. Even with the traction control off, it was still pushing the truck forward on such a slippery surface. And the traction control worked amazingly well. When I did have the throttle pressed a good 3/4 and just held it there, it was obviously too much power, but the traction control worked really well to keep the truck moving. So I think this is going to wrap up this video for me. Now, do I think that DuraTracs are the best tire for winter? No. I think they're awesome all-around tire for snow, mud, off-roading. On the road they seem decent as well. In the rain they're great. Studded, definitely better on ice than without, but not nearly as good as a good winter tire with studs. But for an all-around everyday tire, I think they're great. If you can afford an extra set just for winter, like I have, and you still want to go into deep snow and mud in the winter and the fall and play a little bit, I think they're the best option in my opinion. But I mean, there's definitely other tires that are good as well, but for the price you just can't beat them. But do I think it's worthwhile to get a set just for winter and stud them like I did? No. I think if I had a dedicated winter tire, I would go with something that's a full-fledged winter that maybe wouldn't be as good for mud and deep snow, hoping that I wouldn't be driving in that stuff as much, because you only have the occasional storm versus ice almost all winter long. Well, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, and I'll see you in the next one.